The Iraqi Dinar Today latest news. This is the report many in the financial world are calling the most significant update in over a decade. For years, those observing the Iraqi dinar have monitored the intricate movements of a nation working to solidify its economic footing. Now, for the first time in memory, an unprecedented convergence of foundational governmental initiatives, sophisticated financial reforms, and long-term structural blueprints is taking place simultaneously. This rare alignment of actions across multiple sectors suggests to seasoned financial observers that a major, coordinated setup is unfolding behind the scenes, a kind of pre-stage engineering that seldom occurs unless a significant change in the currency framework is being methodically prepared. The astonishing element capturing the attention of analysts globally is that several of these transformative actions are not future proposals, but are actively in motion right now, demonstrating a decisive shift from planning to execution. This specialized report is dedicated to dissecting the complete narrative behind Iraq's freshly instituted, multi-year national master plan, the swift yet largely silent revolution occurring within its banking system, and the powerful early indicators that point toward an organized and highly controlled revaluation groundwork. We invite you to stay with us as we thoroughly examine what has rapidly become the most compelling financial discussion surrounding Iraq in years, and why so many reputable experts believe the dinar's long-term trajectory is reaching its pivotal moment. The initial, most talked about development centers on the profound shift in the Iraqi government's approach as it transitions into the next phase of its national economic rejuvenation. The country's narrative has historically been one of continuous reaction, moving from managing one crisis to recovering from the next. However, Iraq is now deliberately moving into a dramatically different stage, a period explicitly founded upon strategic planning, wholesale modernization, and the pursuit of enduring financial stability across all sectors. This conceptual shift is critically important because, in the context of global monetary history, significant currency value reforms are virtually never initiated during periods of economic or political turbulence. They are instead a hallmark of stability, confidence, and meticulous preparation. The current landscape is mirroring this exact pattern, characterized by the establishment of powerful new economic committees, the enforcement of rigorous new financial rules, the adoption of international banking standards, and the public unveiling of comprehensive economic programs. These movements signify that Iraq is no longer simply reacting to problems as they emerge, but is instead proactively constructing a robust, modern foundation for its long-term future. When a sovereign government makes the calculated decision to pivot its operational focus from reactive crisis management to proactive, forward-looking strategic construction, it generally transmits a singular, powerful signal to the global financial community. That signal is confidence. It suggests the government has achieved a necessary degree of internal control and stability to begin adjusting the deeply embedded currency framework, tightening controls over liquidity, and preparing complex financial systems for the handling of much larger-scale monetary movements. This visible confidence, underpinned by concrete action, has not gone unnoticed. Investors, both large and small, are keenly observing this monumental governmental shift, which has resulted in a fresh wave of dedicated global attention toward the Iraqi dinar, a level of focus that has simply not been witnessed in a significant number of years. This new posture is being interpreted as a necessary prerequisite for any nation aiming to elevate its currency's position and strengthen its overall financial influence on the international stage. A second, equally consequential development is the relentless national campaign to overhaul and modernize Iraq's entire banking ecosystem. For a substantial period of time, one of the most significant structural impediments hindering the dinar's potential ascendancy was a system characterized by antiquated, paper-intensive processes and a slow, cumbersome pace of international financial integration. This reality is now being transformed at a pace that is far exceeding the awareness of most casual observers. Across Iraq, financial institutions are undergoing a comprehensive overhaul, marked by the wholesale upgrading of their core digital systems, a massive expansion of electronic payment infrastructures, the implementation of stringent, globally compliant standards, and a dramatic enhancement of cross-border transaction capabilities. These are not trivial, cosmetic fixes. They are profound, foundational changes specifically engineered to align Iraq's financial machinery with international benchmarks for efficiency and transparency. The reason this comprehensive banking modernization is so fundamentally important is that a major currency movement, such as a revaluation or redenomination, demands a highly functional and technologically advanced financial system capable of sustaining the shockwave of change. Such an event cannot operate smoothly without sophisticated digital infrastructure, meticulously accurate tracking mechanisms, expert liquidity management, and instantaneous, reliable international communication channels. Iraq is systematically building and implementing every single one of these necessary components right now. They have been quietly testing internal protocols, establishing complex new regulations, and coordinating efforts with prominent global financial institutions. The meticulous timing of these upgrades coincides perfectly with the government's new multi-year strategic vision, leading many professional analysts to conclude that these widespread banking improvements are not random, isolated events, but rather highly strategic, synchronized steps toward a defined financial objective. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence suggesting that a large-scale financial preparation is underway is the noticeable and unprecedented level of high-level government coordination across what are traditionally siloed sectors. We are currently observing the Ministry of Finance working in tightly synchronized alignment with the central bank. Simultaneously, foreign investment committees are perfectly aligning their strategies with a host of new, major national development projects. Furthermore, international governmental partners and private entities are collaboratively engaging on large-scale infrastructure, energy, and trade modernization initiatives. These diverse groups traditionally operate at very different speeds and rarely achieve such perfect synchronization. Yet they are currently moving with extraordinary unity. This intense, high-level coordination strongly implies a single, overarching, ambitious goal that absolutely requires consistency, meticulous timing, and unity of purpose to succeed. Whether that ultimate objective is the achievement of massive national economic growth, a strategic expansion into new international markets, the establishment of a significantly stronger national currency, or a combination of all these elements, the undeniable fact remains: Iraq is executing a plan that demands extraordinary organizational sophistication and deep, long-term strategic thinking. Currency reform, specifically the decision to adjust the value to reflect new economic strength, fits seamlessly into this comprehensive picture. This is especially true when a nation's stated ambition is to thoroughly modernize its global financial footprint and aggressively attract the kind of serious, institutional global investment that is necessary for sustained development. The coordinated government actions speak volumes about the commitment to a unified economic future, which forms the bedrock of stable currency transitions. Turning our focus to Iraq's new multi-year government master plan, it is critical to understand that this document represents far more than a typical political declaration or a simple wish list of aspirations. It is a rigorously structured, fully integrated strategy that meticulously charts the course for economic development, major infrastructure expansion, energy sector advancements, the aforementioned banking modernization, and, crucially, long-term currency stability. The plan's scope encompasses sweeping upgrades to national transportation networks, the construction of new electricity grids to meet domestic and industrial demand, the expansion of oil production and export capabilities, and the deployment of advanced digital banking systems. Collectively, these initiatives are designed to fundamentally increase investor confidence and profoundly strengthen the nation's overall financial standing, both of which serve as powerful, natural determinants of currency value. However, the most pertinent characteristic of this expansive master plan is its explicit design to engineer and maintain stability over the long haul. Stability is recognized globally as the non-negotiable foundation for any nation that is contemplating the sensitive and complex process of adjusting its currency's valuation. Iraq's clear objective is to permanently position itself in the global consciousness as a formidable and dependable financial player, moving beyond its historical categorization as a fragile or volatile entity. The carefully chosen timing of this multifaceted master plan, when directly combined with the systematic banking reforms that are already operational, has understandably ignited widespread global speculation that the dinar may experience strategic value changes as the various phases of this transformative plan are systematically rolled out and completed. In parallel with the critical infrastructure and banking reforms, Iraq is also vigorously pursuing a strategy to amplify its international economic presence and regional influence. The government is actively forging powerful new agreements with a diverse range of global partners, significantly expanding crucial regional alliances, and attracting profound investment interest from major international companies keen to participate in Iraq's energy, construction, and emerging technology sectors. This aggressive push for foreign investment is fundamentally important because it directly drives the demand for the local currency. When large international corporations establish operations within a country, they require the local dinar to cover their operational expenses and payroll, which in turn dramatically increases market activity and provides essential support for a stronger exchange rate. The more reliable and economically appealing Iraq becomes to foreign capital, the greater the pressure on the dinar to accurately reflect that newfound national economic strength. Financial experts consistently underscore the observation that countries rarely achieve this intense level of global economic expansion without first preparing their internal financial architecture for a corresponding currency modernization. It is an established economic cycle. First, strengthen the underlying national economy. Second, attract a significant influx of foreign investors. Third, achieve and maintain stability within the financial system. And finally, implement the necessary currency adjustments that accurately and credibly reflect the nation's new economic reality. All available evidence suggests that Iraq is not merely participating in, but deliberately executing this exact, time-tested pattern of economic development and financial preparedness. This systematic approach is a powerful signal of intent. One of the most frequently discussed subjects right now pertains to the various preliminary indications of what many are interpreting as revaluation RV preparation. These signals do not originate from official government announcements, but are derived from a series of structural movements, subtle policy adjustments, and quiet system updates that have historically preceded major, controlled financial adjustments in other nations. For instance, specific financial institutions have been observed updating their internal currency, handling, and processing procedures. Second, there has been a marked increase in the frequency and stringency of internal audits across a number of key financial bodies. Third, new operational and communication guidelines have reportedly been introduced to ensure a unified and transparent front. Fourth, the nationwide promotion and adoption of secure digital payment systems has been dramatically intensified. Collectively, these actions align with the preparatory steps analysts have routinely documented leading up to controlled currency reforms. It must be emphasized that none of these individual actions constitutes an official confirmation that a currency adjustment has definitively commenced. However, taken together, They powerfully suggest that Iraq's financial authorities are engaged in a serious and intensive preparation phase for a major systemic shift. Any large-scale financial movement requires an enormous amount of preparation and infrastructure testing, and the current level of activity clearly indicates that Iraq is heavily invested in ensuring that its systems are primed for whatever comes next. This proactive preparation is a key differentiator from past periods of economic activity. Another noteworthy indicator is the heightened and concerted emphasis on public financial literacy and nationwide awareness campaigns. It is a common operational step that when a government anticipates requiring its citizens to adapt to significant upcoming financial changes, it initiates a comprehensive public education drive well in advance of the event. Iraq has been noticeably increasing its public guidance on digital banking, transparently explaining new financial system features, and widely disseminating information regarding updated currency handling rules and procedures. This is a critical preemptive measure because any major currency transformation risks descending into chaos if the public is confused or inadequately prepared to navigate the new systems and procedures. The Iraqi authorities appear firmly committed to mitigating any potential confusion, which explains the unprecedented level of focused public communication currently being observed. When a country successfully increases both transparency and citizen understanding regarding financial matters, the implementation of complex financial reforms, particularly those concerning currency value, becomes significantly more manageable and dramatically increases the probability of successful, stable outcome. The commitment to this educational effort is therefore seen as an important aspect of the overall preparation strategy. This public engagement phase is as vital to the success of a major currency transition as the technical banking upgrades themselves, fostering trust and facilitating a smoother national adoption of change. Let us now shift focus to oil production, which remains the single most powerful pillar of Iraq's national economy. The achievement of stabilized and optimized oil production is a massive, tangible signal that underpins any potential financial upgrades. When a nation successfully guarantees a consistent and robust revenue stream from its primary natural resource, it naturally generates profound confidence across all global markets. Iraq's demonstrable recent improvements in its oil production capacity, coupled with the establishment of firm, long-term export strategies, clearly indicate that the country is planning strategically for the future, rather than simply reacting to immediate market demands. Stable, predictable revenue streams provide governments with the necessary financial backing to credibly support higher exchange rates and maintain a stronger national currency. If Iraq successfully sustains this trajectory, the dinar will inherently gain significant strength because the country will possess the necessary financial resources to anchor and maintain a more valuable monetary unit. The aggressive push for foreign investment incentives represents another crucial piece of this complex economic puzzle. Iraq is now systematically introducing new policies that provide stronger financial protections, offer significant tax advantages, and create attractive partnership opportunities specifically targeted at international investors and corporations. These incentives are strategically engineered to attract a large-scale, sustained inflow of foreign capital into the Iraqi market. As new investors enter, the demand for the Iraqi dinar naturally escalates, as businesses must convert foreign currency to acquire the necessary local dinar to conduct operations. This surge in demand organically supports a higher currency valuation. Crucially, these incentives are an integral, intentional component of the long-term master plan, signaling they are structural, not temporary. A nation that offers such compelling investment incentives typically anticipates and expects a resulting rise in economic value and currency strength, a pattern observed in multiple countries that successfully overhauled their financial systems in the past. One of the most significant game changers is Iraq's full embrace of digital finance. The central bank is the driving force behind a major push for greater digital adoption, the implementation of ultra-secure banking technologies, the establishment of sophisticated online payment platforms, and the deployment of transparent financial tracking systems. Digital integration is absolutely vital because modern, globally integrated financial systems demand three core attributes: speed, accuracy, and accountability. A revalued national currency must be rigorously protected against the potential threats of fraud, manipulation, and financial instability. Digital banking provides that necessary, modern protective shield. Iraq's determined pivot toward digital integration unambiguously demonstrates the country's ambition to operate at the same level of capability as advanced global economies. When a nation modernizes its fundamental financial systems, it positions itself to credibly support major currency transitions, including the intricate processes of revaluation or redenomination. This foundational digital work is why many analysts conclude that Iraq is meticulously laying the necessary technological bedrock for the dinar's next definitive chapter. Another powerful, reinforcing factor is Iraq's accelerating expansion of its regional and international influence. As Iraq works to build deeper, more collaborative economic relationships with neighboring countries and international financial partners, its overall economic credibility on the world stage naturally strengthens. A country's currency value is intrinsically tied to global confidence and perception of stability. The more consistently trusted and stable Iraq becomes within the international community, the stronger the inherent justification for a strategic adjustment to the dinar's value. Comprehensive regional cooperation across critical areas like trade, energy, transportation, and formalized financial agreements are all compounding factors contributing to deep, long-term stability. What is currently being observed is a nation systematically preparing to re-enter and participate in global financial systems at a notably higher level than ever before. And this kind of financial reintegration is frequently accompanied by strategic currency reform measures. The nature of government communication has also undergone a dramatic and purposeful transformation. Recent high-level announcements have been meticulously focused on core themes of transparency, financial stability, demonstrable growth metrics, and an unequivocal readiness for significantly increased international engagement. Whenever governments begin consistently utilizing such specific, targeted financial language, especially language centered on stability and modernization, it serves as a strong indication that larger, complex economic operations are being carefully prepared behind the public view. Iraq's communications are becoming increasingly structured, notably more strategic, and infused with a greater sense of confidence. This distinct shift in tone and content signals a new level of maturity in the overall financial planning process, aligning perfectly with how nations strategically prepare for major currency upgrades. An element that has particularly engaged the attention of financial analysts is the consistent, steady flow of high-level international financial discussions involving Iraqi authorities. These essential conversations routinely cover complex topics such as banking cooperation frameworks, monetary policy alignment strategies, advanced currency modernization techniques, and digital finance development blueprints. These are fundamentally not the typical discussions for a country that is merely sustaining a basic level of financial operation. These dialogues are indicative of nations actively preparing for a much higher level of deep financial integration. The more extensively Iraq engages on the global financial stage, the more substantial the momentum the dinar naturally gains. Global financial networks require, above all else, stable and trustworthy national currencies, and Iraq appears to be aiming decisively for exactly that level of international acceptance and confidence. Many financial observers are also keenly focused on the internal financial policies being aggressively implemented within Iraq. New, stricter rules concerning financial transparency, expanded anti-corruption efforts, formalized currency handling procedures, and heightened banking supervision are all being systematically strengthened and enforced. Robust financial oversight is universally recognized as one of the clearest and most definitive signs that a country is actively preparing for the successful circulation of a potentially more valuable currency. This rigorous oversight prevents misuse, thwarts fraud, and ensures that liquidity remains controlled and stable. When a nation consistently strengthens this oversight capability, it is effectively building the necessary institutional foundation for long-term, stable financial growth. Iraq is clearly engaged in this painstaking, step-by-step foundational work. We must also address the reports of a quiet but significant buildup occurring within the country's private banking institutions. Numerous industry insiders have reported that banks are intensely testing their internal technological systems, thoroughly reviewing and updating their currency handling rules, investing heavily in improved staff training, and strategically preparing their infrastructure for the inevitable impact of much higher transaction volumes. These preparatory actions strongly mirror the exact early stages observed in other nations shortly before strategic changes in currency value were officially introduced. Banks are required to be fully ready well in advance of any major financial shift, and the current level of preparation activity strongly suggests that Iraq's financial sector intends to be completely operational and ready long before any official announcement is made. A concept currently garnering specific interest among analysts is the potential for a structured or tiered exchange system. While no official government policy on this matter has been released, the discussion is gaining traction because such a controlled rollout method aligns perfectly with the type of managed transition that governments often utilize when adjusting currency values to manage liquidity and minimize market disruption. A tiered exchange approach would allow the government and the central bank to carefully manage the national liquidity, protect the broader financial system from undue shock, and ensure a stable, orderly transition. If Iraq were to ever implement such a controlled process, the precise early preparation steps currently being witnessed would be an absolute and necessary prerequisite for its success. It is equally essential to highlight the unprecedented global attention Iraq is currently receiving. Highly influential financial analysts, leading economists, and seasoned international market watchers are monitoring Iraq with a level of scrutiny that vastly exceeds previous periods. This intensity of global focus is generally indicative of a country that is actively entering a significant transitionary period. Economy watchers typically do not dedicate such substantial resources to nations with stagnant financial conditions. Their attention is exclusively drawn to nations that are exhibiting clear, definitive signals of movement, progress, and early-stage transformation. Iraq is demonstrably showing all three of these characteristics, which is why the dinar has once again become a high-priority topic in global economic discussions. However, for a balanced perspective, it is imperative to acknowledge the potential risks and inherent challenges that accompany any major economic overhaul. Iraq's continued progress is contingent upon the maintenance of political stability, the unwavering commitment to ongoing economic reforms, and the consistent, high-quality execution of government policy. Any significant political delay or sudden, unexpected policy reversal could potentially slow the entire process down. Furthermore, global and regional market fluctuations may introduce temporary periods of uncertainty or volatility. Yet, recognizing these risks is a fundamental, normal component of any major financial discussion. The presence of these inherent risks in no way negates or diminishes the powerful, significant progress that is currently being made. It merely serves as a crucial reminder to all observers to remain well prepared, fully informed through official channels, and to maintain a strategic, cautious mindset rather than succumbing to emotional or impulsive reactions. Despite the acknowledged risks, the long-term, broader impact of Iraq's transformation remains exceptionally powerful and strategically vital. A stronger, more stable dinar would immediately improve the nation's purchasing power, deliver substantial benefits to local citizens, significantly elevate the country's global financial standing, and provide the necessary support for long-term national development goals. This transformation extends far beyond a simple currency adjustment. It is fundamentally about the comprehensive rebuilding of Iraq's financial identity and the powerful restoration of its economic strength on the global stage. As this story continues to develop, observers should anticipate further government updates, the introduction of more comprehensive banking reforms, a deepening of international cooperation, and a continuation of public education campaigns. Each of these moves suggests a unified effort to prepare both the public and the financial system for an upcoming significant monetary change. All current signals point toward a gradual, exceptionally well-organized and structured rollout of deep economic changes, particularly those directly related to long-term currency stability and modernization. So, what is the clear implication of all this systematic activity for those who hold the Iraqi dinar? It unequivocally means that deliberate, thoughtful preparation is the most critical factor right now. It is essential to maintain organization, to remain continually informed by strictly following official government and central bank channels, to rigorously avoid the distraction of unsubstantiated rumors, and to focus entirely on the long-term potential opportunity rather than the excitement of short-term, unverified hype. The most beneficial results in complex financial situations are invariably achieved through calm, strategic thinking, not through panicked or rushed decision-making. If Iraq remains committed to and successfully follows this current path of coordinated reform, the coming months and years could potentially usher in one of the most significant national financial transformations of this era. As this compelling story continues its unfold, the Iraqi Dinar Today latest news channel is committed to meticulously monitoring every single development, analyzing every official update, and interpreting every relevant signal. The current synergy between Iraq's comprehensive master plan, the full-scale banking modernization, the substantial infrastructure expansion, and the aggressive international engagement collectively tells a powerful and unified story of change. While the term RV may not yet be an official government announcement, the necessary, deep foundational groundwork for a major financial shift is visibly and actively starting. This period marks the clear beginning of a new, potentially defining chapter for the Iraqi dinar, and you are currently watching this monumental shift unfold in real time.